Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered why some days feel sticky and heavy in the air while others feel dry and comfortable even at the same temperature? Today we are going to explore the fascinating science behind atmospheric humidity and how we actually measure this invisible moisture around us. Let us begin by defining the invisible, which is absolute humidity. Absolute humidity is the actual physical quantity of moisture present in a given volume of atmosphere. It is expressed either as grams per cubic meter of air or as grams per kilogram of air. While absolute humidity tells us the actual amount of moisture, relative humidity tells us something different: the ratio of saturation. Relative humidity does not indicate the actual water vapor amount. Instead, it measures how close the air is to being fully saturated. At 50% relative humidity, the air contains exactly one half of the required moisture for saturation. At 100% relative humidity, the air has reached its maximum capacity for that specific temperature. And interestingly, air can even become supersaturated, holding a relative humidity greater than 100%. This concept can be expressed mathematically. Relative humidity equals water vapor content divided by water vapor capacity, or more precisely, relative humidity percentage equals actual vapor pressure divided by saturation vapor pressure multiplied by 100%. It is important to remember that these saturation values are fundamentally dependent on the specific temperature and atmospheric pressure at the time. There are two levers that control relative humidity. The first mechanism involves changing the air's water vapor content directly. Adding more vapor to a fixed capacity results in higher relative humidity. The second mechanism involves changing the air temperature while keeping vapor content constant. Warm air has a high capacity for moisture, while cool air has a low capacity. This gives us the rule of temperature. Cooling the air raises relative humidity because it shrinks the air's capacity, while warming the air lowers relative humidity because it expands that capacity. Extremely low relative humidity indoors carries a real physiological cost. It causes rapid evaporation of moisture from living things, including houseplants and humans, and the remedy is to mechanically increase relative humidity. On exposed skin, rapid moisture evaporation causes cracking, dry flakes, and severe itching. On mucous membranes, irritation occurs in the nose and throat, leading to an itchy throat, and in the nasal passages, dryness compromises natural defenses, permitting inhaled bacteria to incubate and causing persistent infections. To understand visibility thresholds, we look at dew point and frost point. Both represent the temperature to which air must be cooled with no change in pressure or moisture for saturation to occur. Dew point is determined with respect to a flat surface of water, and it predicts the formation of dew, fog, and minimum daily temperatures. Frost point, on the other hand, is determined with respect to a flat surface of ice. As a general rule of thumb, a low dew point indicates critically low water vapor content in the atmosphere, while a high dew point indicates high water vapor content. Now let us look at how humidity is actually captured and measured, starting with the evaporation engine known as the psychrometric principle. Dry bulb temperature measures the ambient air directly. Wet bulb temperature is usually lower than the dry bulb temperature because evaporating moisture draws heat away from the bulb. 100% saturation occurs only if both readings are perfectly identical. This creates what is called the saturation gap. The drier the air, the faster the evaporation, and the larger the gap between dry bulb and wet bulb readings. It is also worth noting that humidity values follow an atmospheric cycle, peaking in the early morning and hitting their absolute minimum around 1500 hours or 3 pm. The first instrument used for measurement is the dry and wet bulb hygrometer. This is the most widely used stationary instrument, consisting of two identical thermometers mounted side by side. The wet bulb mechanism is covered in a moist wick or gauze, which is dipped into a small reservoir. The critical requirement for accurate wet bulb readings is that air must actively pass over the bulb at a speed of exactly 800 feet per minute or 5 meters per second, and the readings are then converted to percentages using specially constructed psychrometric charts or slide rules. The second instrument is the sling psychrometer. Its design consists of two thermometers mounted on a frame with a handle, created specifically to overcome the stationary hygrometer's airflow problem manually. The principle behind it is simple. Rotation exposes the bulbs to air at a definite, controlled velocity. And there is an important stance required for accurate use. The operator must stand with their back to the sun to shield the instrument from direct radiation. Using the sling psychrometer follows a specific whirling algorithm for successive measurement. Step 1 is preparation, moistening the wet bulb explicitly with distilled water. Step 2 is the initial spin, whirling the instrument for 15 seconds at exactly 4 revolutions per second, which achieves the required 5 meters per second airspeed. Step 3 is the first record, immediately noting the wet bulb reading. Step 4 is a secondary spin, whirling again for 10 seconds and noting the wet bulb reading once more. Step 5 is the loop, repeating this spin and read cycle until 2 successive wet bulb readings are identical. And step 6 is finalization, noting the dry bulb reading last, then consulting psychrometric tables to determine the final humidity value. The third instrument is the Assmann psychrometer, a more advanced tool. It features mechanized airflow using a built-in clockwork fan that steadily draws air over the bulbs at speeds higher than 5 meters per second. It also offers solar immunity, since the thermometer bulbs are physically protected by built-in shielding from solar radiation, allowing perfect operation even in strong, direct sunshine. This represents a significant design evolution, a highly accurate, fully portable instrument designed to mechanically bypass human operational error. Comparing all three instruments side by side reveals clear differences. In terms of airflow generation, the dry-wet hygrometer relies on ambient wind. The sling psychrometer relies on manual rotation at 4 revolutions per second, and the Assmann psychrometer relies on a clockwork fan. When it comes to achieving the required 5 meters per second velocity, the dry-wet hygrometer is unreliable. The sling psychrometer achieves it through manual effort, and the Assmann psychrometer achieves it constantly through mechanics. For solar radiation protection, the dry-wet hygrometer offers none. The sling psychrometer relies on postural protection by facing away from the sun, and the Assmann psychrometer offers a built-in physical shield. And in terms of portability, the dry-wet hygrometer is a stationary stand, the sling psychrometer is a handheld frame, and the Assmann psychrometer is a fully portable unit. To bring everything together, atmospheric humidity rests on 3 architectural pillars. The first pillar is the principle of saturation. Relative humidity is a fluid ratio. Cooling air shrinks its capacity and raises relative humidity, while warming air expands its capacity and lowers relative humidity, and high dew points indicate heavy moisture loads. The second pillar is the biological impact. Ambient moisture is not just a meteorological statistic. Extremely low relative humidity violently strips moisture from living tissue, breaking down physical barriers and enabling bacterial incubation. And the third pillar is the science of capture. Capturing invisible moisture relies on the cooling effect of evaporation, and accurate measurement strictly requires a wet bulb, a dry bulb, and a steady airflow of at least 5 meters per second. Hope you have understood the principles and measurement of atmospheric humidity. If you found this video useful, please watch and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.